So we're reading in Matthew 14 today, and one of the things that is really cool about this section is how Jesus uses his authority in two different ways. So some Jews from Jerusalem now, not just the local, pastor, but the guys coming down from the headquarters, are beginning to confront Jesus. It's almost as if the folks in the northern part of Judea wrote to their leaders saying, "Help! We've got this new rabbi. He teaches crazy things, and we need someone with more authority to come deal with him." So those who supposedly have more authority show up, and Jesus just absolutely hammers these guys in a way he hasn't hammered the local guys up in the northern part of Judea. And in doing so, does a couple things. One is he kind of casts in stark relief the faith that they should have had with the faith that they actually have. And the second thing that happens is Jesus ultimately declares all foods clean, because in Matthew 14, he reminds people that it's not the things that we put into our bodies that make us unclean. It's what comes out of our hearts, out of our mouths, that makes us unclean. It's the evil that's in us that needs to be taken away and taken care of by Jesus at the cross, that makes us unclean and unable to be in God's presence. But then we move to the second sort of scene, and the opposite happens. Those folks who, in the first scene, folks who should get it don't get it. And this lady, this Canaanite woman, who shouldn't get it, does get it. If you don't know who the Canaanites are, they're bad news for God's people. They are the ones who the Israelites were supposed to destroy when they entered the Promised Land in the Old Testament. They don't. The Canaanites, ultimately, those who are left, ultimately they intermarry with the Israelites, and they tempt God's people away from following Yahweh God to the gods that they served and were supposed to be punished for. And so the Israelites are ultimately exiled for this, the northern tribes by Assyria, the southern tribes by Babylon. So you can understand perhaps why Jesus might be a little hesitant to have a conversation with this Canaanite lady. And yet, ultimately, her faith is vindicated. That this woman who shouldn't get it, who shouldn't understand, gets who this is and the authority that he has. And he praises her faith in a way that we haven't seen since another person who shouldn't have got it, a centurion. He gets it in chapter 8 and is praised for it. She gets it in chapter 14 and she's praised for it. Hope that's helpful for you. Oh yeah, there's at the end, the feeding of the 4,000. Jesus still has authority over creation. Just in case you were wondering if that had changed in the last couple of chapters, it hasn't. Next time, chapter 15. Take care, y'all.